Hello there. This is about a frightful drama film. Toward the start of the film, we see a 9-year-old young lady named Emma Grossman. She watches a cat suffocating in water through her room's window. She shuts the blinds without any feelings, and goes on with her morning schedule, showing no regret to the suffocating cat. Emma lives with her single parent named David Grossman. She is an excellent student and a polite child. She appears to have no human feelings. That day at breakfast, Emma advises him of her desire to win a citizenship award at school. As the two talk, Emma's aunt, Angela, comes in. She advises David regarding another babysitter she has found for Emma. It just so happens that Emma's previous babysitter experienced an accident. As they talk, Emma brings up about the dead cat in the fountain. David takes out the cat, however Emma is by all accounts of no feelings about cat's passing. That day at school, a wasp startles the children as they study. As the students retreat in dread, Emma fearlessly takes a glass and catches the wasp to allow it to fly outside the window. In the interim, David meets a sitter named Chloe. He prefers her arrangement of work, so he employs her. Chloe is by all accounts intrigued by David. Back at school, Emma's classmate, Katie, is playing when she finds Emma, who helps her get up. Their educator watches the situation transpire. Maybe Emma is attempting to be compassionate to win the citizenship award. That evening, Emma works on grinning, smiling before the mirror. The next day is the honor day. David dresses up Emma and drives her to class. All the guardians and students are situated in the crowd. At the point when the teacher declares that Milo has won the citizenship award, Emma is disappointed. At the point when David talks with Emma about Milo's win, she says that she was the person who deserves it. Furthermore, starts offending Milo. She apologizes when David takes looks at her. In a little while, when nobody is watching, Emma takes Milo to show a cliff close by. At the point when Milo recommends returning, Emma strolls towards him. Afterward, when Milo's parents inquire as to whether she has seen him, she lies and says she hasn't seen him since the bonfire. Unexpectedly, two young ladies come running, shouting for help. Every one of the parents hurry to see. Milo has fallen off the cliff and suffocated in the water. His dad conveys his cleaned up body. Furthermore, has a go at giving him CPR, yet Milo is dead. The next morning at breakfast, David asks Emma how she feels. However, she completely overlooks the reality her companion passed on the other day. Afterward, the new sitter, Chloe, goes to the house. That evening, David isn't home. Emma discovers Chloe in David's room taking a portion of David's medication. Later, as they watch TV, Emma stands up to her about the medications. She vows to not tell David if Chloe does what she needs. Emma then, at that point, orders her to get her an ice cream. Chloe considers the young lady a witch, but does what she says. The next day is Milo's remembrance. After the ceremony, everybody is crying with the exception of Emma. David talks with Milo's parents. Discovers that the award is missing. They expect that it sank in the water. All of a sudden, Emma starts to cry as well. Maybe she is professing to be miserable before Milo's parents. At the point when they return home, David is stressed over Emma's conduct. When he creases Emma's clothing that day, we see that Milo's medal is covered up under Emma's sleeping cushion. David glances through the photos of the award day, and discovers a few pictures of Emma scowling at Milo. He presumes that his demise needs to accomplish something with Emma. Soon thereafter, Emma's instructor, Mrs. Ellis, and a cop visit David to discuss Milo's passing. Mrs. Ellis guarantees that somebody had seen Emma with Milo at the cliff before his passing. Emma pays attention to their discussion from the door. She fakes falling on a jar and harming herself, to prevent them from talking. Seeing that Emma is harmed, Mrs. Ellis and the official leave. While dealing with Emma's injury, David inquires as to whether she was with Milo at the cliff, yet Emma denies. When he uncovers that Mrs. Ellis said she was, Emma gets upset and hollers that Mrs. Ellis hates her. The next day, Chloe goes to their side house where David is working. Chloe takes Emma to the outside to play with her bike. While they are grinding away, the two see Mrs. Ellis's vehicle before Milo's home. Ellis is conversing with Milo's mom. Chloe says that they are building evidence against Emma. She realizes that Emma killed Milo. The young lady acts as she doesn't have a clue what Chloe is discussing. At the point when they return home, they proceed the discussion. Chloe discloses to Emma that on the off chance that they discover what happened Milo, they will make Emma an electric chair. This alarms Emma, yet she actually doesn't confess. Sometime thereafter, Chloe is searching for Emma around the house, when we notice the wasp home that had been in the roof of the garage is no more. Then, at that point, we see Mrs. Ellis drive away from Milo's home. As she drives, a wasp dives near her, which nearly causes a mishap. She proceeds to drive. The wasp's nest lies there. Emma has put the nest in the car to attempt to kill her instructor. Back at home, Chloe discovers Milo's award under Emma's sleeping pad. She hangs it in a bed lamp in David's wardrobe, so Emma can be caught. David is in his washroom when Emma goes to his room, sees the medal. She gets it off the lamp and conceals it behind her. However, David takes note. He takes her back to her room and faces her about it. Emma lies and makes up a story about Milo giving the medal to her when they played. David goes for a drive, at the point when he sees a vehicle slammed at the street. He calls Angela and inquires her to find Emma a therapist. David begins to get bad dreams about Emma and Milo. The next day, Emma stands up to Chloe about her putting the medal there. She is incensed. All of a sudden, David comes and asks Emma to accompany him. He takes her to Milo's home to get the medal back to his mother. She is befuddled, yet grateful that she brought it back. She then, at that point, illuminates them about Mrs. Ellis' death. She had a car crash on account of the wasps. David is amazed. Emma starts to cry, claiming that Mrs. Ellis was her favorite teacher. Nonetheless, coming back, Emma appears to have disregarded Mrs. Ellis' passing and discusses baking cookies with Chloe. David is disrupted by Emma's conduct. Afterward, as David is working in the outhouse, he sees that the wasp's home is no more. He speculates his girlfriend Mrs. Ellis' demise. The next day is Emma's first meeting with Dr. March. She and Emma have a long talk. After the session, the doctor reveals to David that Emma resembles same as typical child. Emma even tricked a therapist. At the point when the two return home, David runs over to Chloe. As Chloe and Emma talk, she tells to Emma that David was taking a gander at her seductively. She likewise adds that she can be her stepmom. Enraged, Emma shouts at her to avoid her father. That evening, Emma inquires David on the off chance that he likes Chloe. David is confused. She likewise uncovers about Chloe wants to be her stepmom. Nonetheless, David is late for a date, so he leaves without giving her much of a clarification. Later, Chloe hears sounds as she is watching television. She goes searching for Emma. In any case, can't discover her anywhere. She takes a look at the outhouse through the window and sees a shadow there. She goes out to search for her. At the point when she gets into the outhouse, the entryway closes. She attempts to open it, yet it seems to be locked from outside. All at once a fire begins, spreading on the floor. Chloe sees Emma watching her through the window. She attempts to hit her, however the fire surrounds her, ended up killing her. David gets back home and gets to Emma and hugs her. That night, David goes to Emma's room. He sits down before her and affectionately asks her, in the event that she hurt Milo, he guarantees her that he will do anything he can to help her, but she needs to tell truth with him. Emma at last concedes that she pushed Milo off the cliff. She comes up with story by saying that he planned to report her for taking his medal. She then, at that point, nonchalantly says that she will not repeat this. David is astonished by her. He then, at that point, gets some information about Mrs. LaVia, Emma's previous babysitter. She uncovers that she pushed her down the steps since Mrs. LaVia holds her hand. She then, at that point, says that LaVia should have been more cautious. Emma gets aggressive as she talks. At the point when asked about how she dealt with Chloe, she hollers at David and faults Chloe for trying to be her stepmother. David is restless. He can't accept that his little girl can carry out such a horrendous crime. The next morning, the town police calls David and says he needs to meet Emma. David comes up with a rationalization about her being sick. He then, at that point, takes her to their lake house far away. Soon thereafter, the police calls David again to inform about him that the fire was set purposely by somebody, yet they don't have a clue who. Hearing that his little girl may get captured, now he is anxious. David has a firearm with him at the house. He looks at it from time to time, thinking on the off chance that he can use to tackle the circumstance. The following day, as David is sleeping, Emma comes into his room and kisses him. She shuts all the windows and turns every one of the gas stoves on in an endeavor to kill her father. Emma then, At that point passes by the lake and stays there. All of a sudden, David awakens and smells the gas topping off the house. He quickly opens the windows and turns the stoves off. He sees Emma outside at the lake and understands that she has attempted to kill him. He approaches her and asks her for what reason she did that. Emma answers that if something happened to him, she will go live with her aunt, Angela, who really loves her. David holds her hand also, serenely brings her into the house. Then, at that point, David pulverizes medicines. Afterward, he brings Emma a cup of hot cocoa. The two drinks the hot chocolate together and David sends her to sleep. At the point when he returns to his room, he calls Angela and discloses to her about Emma's bad behavior. Yet, she doesn't trust him. He is sorry to Angela and reveals to her that he has no other alternatives. Incidentally, David had added drugs in Emma's hot cocoa to ingest too much her, with the goal that she doesn't kill more people. That evening when he is sleeping, Emma enters his room. She grasps a firearm and focuses it at his dad. She fires but misses, sending the shot to the cushion alongside David. The gunshot awakens him, and he asks her how is she still alive. Emma answers that she had exchanged her hot cocoa with David's. Seeing that she was going to kill him, David jumps to grab the weapon from her hand. Emma rapidly takes his phone and calls 911. She then, at that point, flees to the restroom as David follows her with the expectation to kill her. Emma tells the 911 operator that her father is attempting to kill her. David tears open the washroom entryway, focuses his gun at Emma. All of a sudden, the housekeeper shows up behind him with his rifle. At the point when David is going to kill Emma, he shoots him, all things considered. Emma looks as her father tumbles down to the ground and dies. The police show up as well. Next morning, Aunt Angela shows up. She discloses to Emma that her father was presumably debilitated. The film finishes as we see Emma hugs his loved Aunt Angela, and smile, like a savage cold predator look all over her face. This film is called The Bad Seed. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing. See you again.